Hello everybody, it's Kate, the West Coast Paper Crafter. You are joining me on March 10th, Monday, March 10th at 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time. I really dislike time change. I feel like I need a few days to get sorted out and settled in every time the clocks change, at least at spring forward, which I always enjoyed when I used to work night shifts, but I'm still adjusting and I probably will need a couple more days before I feel like my normal self, just with that 1 hour time change. So I'm not sure if most of you experience time changes as well, but they are just not my favorite thing. All right, I'll stop whining about time change now because I have a lot going on with this project tonight, and I hate to keep anybody too late on a Monday night because for some of us it's I don't know, maybe a work night or a school night, both for me. Kai's got school, I've got work in the morning, like most of us do, or many of us do. So let's go through all the pieces and then we'll get started. So I've got a Blackberry Bliss card base. Now this is 4¼ by 11 and I've scored it at 5½ on the 11-inch side, and I'm just going to fold that down the middle, and there is our card base. I've gone ahead and I've cut 2 pieces of basic white with the Textured Notes die cuts, and I'll hold them up close so you can see that these die cuts just give a little nifty little border around the edges of the cardstock, which is why I'm loving them so much. But if you don't have these dies, then just cut your paper to 3 7/8 and 5¼ So I've got 2 of those. One is for the inside, one is for the outside. And then I have got 2 pieces of the patterned paper from the Flowering Zinnias Designer Series paper pack. These are both 3½ by 4. And then this is optional, but I've got 4 little strips for the inside of the card, and these are 3½ by 3/4. All right, then I went ahead and I cut a little rectangle out with the textured note dies just for a sentiment. Now I can't remember what the measurements are. Let me measure it. It's 2¼ by 2¼ by 3/4. But whatever you use for your sentiment is just going to depend on how big your sentiment is. So I'm using a little one, which is going to fit in here. I'm going to put that off to the side. And then I've got a scrap piece of paper because I'm going to use some masks tonight and show you how easy that is. Hey Jackie, thanks for tuning in. So we'll do the masks first, then I'm going to show you this very easy paper tearing technique to elevate your card a little bit. But I think the most time consuming thing is going to be using these masks. So these are called the Thankful Garden Decorative Masks. Decorative? I'm not sure how to say that. It might be decorative, I don't know. All right. These are new. They were a March exclusive and they became available on March 4th. And there's 2 floral images. I'm just going to use one of them. And I'm going to start out by prepping my piece of paper that I'm going to do the blending on. So I've just got a piece of basic white. I'm going to use some of my Post-it tape to hold this paper down. Now, Post-it tape, I don't get this from Stampin' Up. They don't sell this, but I use this actually quite a lot. Well, hello, Christine. Your first time catching me live. Thank you for joining. I'm glad you're here. Oops, I'm losing pieces. Where did my envelope go? I need to put this away or I'm going to lose all these little tiny strips. Oh, here it is. I'm just going to tuck this in an envelope, otherwise it's going to be chaos. So I've used this Post-it note to hold down my paper, and the reason that I love this, I pick it up off Amazon, is because it's not too sticky. It's just sticky enough that it does its job, and it's going to come right off your cardstock without ripping it. So I use the Post-it note tape, and this is 1 inch wide. for holding down paper, for certain masking techniques is what I usually use it for. So I always have a roll handy, and I will pop a link into the comments in a moment for anybody who might be looking for Post-it note tape, because it's kind of a game changer for me. All right, decorative masks or decorative, I'm not sure. Hey Wendy, thanks for tuning in. So the handy thing with these masks is that they're numbered. So I'm starting with, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but there is a very subtle number 1. So I know this is the first mask that I'm going to use on my project. So I'm going to angle the mask where I think it should go so I have room, and then I'm going to tape it down, and then I'm just going to keep reusing this tape. So because I'm thrifty and it's easy to reuse and I don't want to run out anytime soon. So I'm just going to tape this down, and then what I'm also going to do is there's a little notch here. I'm just going to take my Sharpie on my glass mat, and I'm going to trace over the edge of this mask on my glass mat, and that's just going to help me line this mask up a little bit better when I switch them out. All right, now I have got, hello Denise, hello Maria, thanks for tuning in. All right, I'm just going to use 2 blending brushes. I'm not super picky with my blending brushes. I will wash them out and I'll use them on any color. I don't know, I'm just not too picky. So I find that these blending brushes, they rinse out pretty clean. I let them dry and then I reuse them. So I actually don't have a blending brush per color family, at least not yet. So that's what I do. So I've already made a flower today. That's why this is dark. I haven't rinsed them out, but I did rub it to get all the darkest color out so I could start fresh. So I'm going to start out with my lightest shade, and I'm using 3 shades of purple. I'm going to do Highland Heather, Gorgeous Grape, and Blackberry Bliss. I'm just going to pick up some ink. Now, you can start on a piece of paper so your ink isn't super dark when you first go on your basic white, or you can even start off on the mask and take off that really heavy first layer of color on your blending brush. Because sometimes our blending brushes, like if you don't start gradually, then you're going to get a whole bunch of dark color, and it's easier to blend the colors up versus you can't get rid of the color once you put it down. So just my tip, unless you don't care and you want to start dark, I always start off on the side just so I don't have a super dark space of color. So I'm just going to go over this. This is the outline of the flowers, and I'm going over this with the Highland Heather. And I'm doing it a little bit darker because my sample one I'll show you after is a little light, and I just wanted to darken it up. Now these, oh Sherry, you can't hear me? Oh no. I'm sorry to hear that. Is anyone else having problems? You won't even know. I wish I could sign language it. If you can't hear me, let me know in the comments. I'm going to write a note. Just in case nobody else can hear it, because I had this problem last week and I had to shut down and restart again. So if that's happening, then I'll do that. The handy thing with always having a Sharpie is that I can write you quick notes. All right, there, this is my note because I don't know sign language. Okay, Laura, you can hear me. Christine, you can hear me. Good. Sherry, I'm sorry. I don't know what the problem is. That makes me sad for you. Okay, so where was I? So I've got my Highland Heather down. That's my first shading. And now we're going to start building on top of this base with a darker color. So I'm just going to take this mask off. I'm going to get it out of the way. And then I'm going to grab mask number 2. So right in that corner, if you can see it, there's a very faint little 2, but it's there. Good. Betsy, Denise, you hear me? I'm glad. Chelsea, you can hear me in Denver. Hello, Lisa. Yes, Denise, post it for holding the paper to the dies too. Thanks, Robin. I'm glad you can hear me. All right, so now I'm just going to line this up. I've got my Sharpie to let me know whereabouts it should go, just in case I can't quite tell. Now, this stamp set these masks are part of a bigger suite collection. And it comes with dies, and it also comes with a stamp. So if you like a black outline and you like this floral image, you can certainly get the suite or the stamps and the mask, and then you stamp the flower first and then you blend the colors in. But I actually don't think, at least in my opinion, I don't think it needs the black outline. So I like it without. Hello, Leanne. Hello, Leah. Laura, Leah or Lee, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. So if I'm mispronouncing your name, I'm sorry. That's one of my biggest fears is mispronouncing names. I think I've mentioned that before. All right, so now I'm going over with a darker shade of purple. This is Gorgeous Grape. Don't be afraid. Trust the process. I know it looks really dark, but it's going to be all right. This is just so easy. I just love it. All right, I'm going to try not to be so clunky because I know the noise picks up, anything loud picks up really easily on my my earbuds, my Apple earbuds. They're a little microphone. So if I drop my ink pads or if I'm just clunky, I know it's super loud. So I'm going to try to be nice to you guys and be quiet. Yay, Sherry, you can hear. All right, moving on. Mask number 3, right in that corner there by that little notch. I'm lining it up again and taping it down with my handy post-it note tape. So there's been a lot of things happening over this weekend that I'm kind of excited to tell you guys about. Number one, well, before I forget, now I'm layering the third mask with the darkest shade, which is Blackberry Bliss. I'm hoping this picks up because I went a little bit heavy on the Gorgeous Grape. So I guess we're going to find out. Let's see. Anyway, oops. I was too rough. I slid my mask over. Right there. Okay, so many things happened this weekend. First off, I hit 20,000 followers on Facebook. Isn't that crazy? For those of you who've been watching me for a while, I started out with just friends and family. Last year in January, I had 600 followers. And this weekend, I have over 20,000. It's incredible. I can't believe it. I'm overwhelmed and super grateful. I'm just this small town girl, and I am nothing fancy, so it still blows my mind every time I open up Facebook. That's crazy. So thank you guys. So when I was a little bit rough and my mask slid, I did smudge the ink. You can see that right there. I'll show you when I lift that up. But I'm not worried because I actually did, I'm just looking for the number 4. That's the one I want. I did a sample on my lunch break today because I was going to fussy cut this out and I didn't want to take up unnecessary time by fussy cutting. So it's okay that I made a mistake on this since I have a backup one. So handy is that, hey? Anyway, yes, thank you guys. Thanks for the congratulations. It's really surprising. I was surprised. So after that, I baked a pie on Sunday, and I don't bake, and it turned out really good. And it was so easy. Everything went in a blender. It's called Impossible Coconut Pie. Wow, that blew my mind. So it turns out I can bake. Now I'm using old olive for the leaves. And so that happened on Sunday. And then this morning, Facebook sent me a message. Now, this is mind-blowing. They sent me a message and said that I am now discoverable for brands on Facebook, which I didn't really know what that meant, so I did have to do a little bit of reading. But what that means is that Facebook pushes my page out to companies who want to share product with people to promote their products, and then they give you free things. So they can't guarantee that that's going to happen, but if it does, I really hope somebody from the most comfortable hoodie or sweatpant company reaches out to me and sends me the free most comfortable hoodie and sweatpants in the world, because those are my favorite things. Anyway, that was a nice surprise. So that happened. And okay. Now I need to change masks. I just did the first layer of green with mask number 4. And now I'm grabbing mask number 5, the last mask, and I'm going to do my darkest shade of green, which is Mossy Meadow. So the first shade of green I used was Old Olive. Now I'm going to use Mossy Meadow. And that's it. I don't have a lot of masks, but I'm telling you, friends, this is kind of fun. So let me know in the comments if you do these types of images with the masks and the blending brush, because I'm kind of new to this and it's really easy and it's really fun. So that's making my day. All right, I'm going to get these brushes out of the way and close up my ink so I don't get my fingers in it. And I will show you the end product, which if you pretend not to notice the smudge, it's really beautiful. Look at how easy that is. So my gorgeous grape, I was a little heavy on it, so the Blackberry Bliss doesn't stand out as much, but that's okay. I'm learning. This is the sample I did at lunch. The Highland Heather is very faint, and then you can see the shades a lot better with this one between the gorgeous grape and the Blackberry Bliss. This one that I was a little too heavy on, they just kind of blended together. So don't do that. Do it like the first one. Be a little lighter on those images, but same colors. I was just a little bit lighter with the Highland Heather and the gorgeous grape, and this turned out a lot nicer actually, but you can let me know if you prefer the dark or the light. It's really personal preference. So I just went ahead and I fussy cut this out, but like I said, there is a whole suite, and you can get the dies if you don't like to fussy cut. You can get the stamps if you want to stamp the black outline and then color it in. And there's paper with it too, which I have, but I can't remember where I put it, of course, because I'm always in chaos. So now for the paper technique. This is called a fault line, and it is just the easiest. I'm just going to make sure I have the right width. I want the 3.5 inch side. So what we're going to do is we're going to stack our paper together, and then we're going to tear it at the same time. So when you tear it at the same time and your paper is stacked together, then you're going to get an identical tear line. Oops, I got to make sure that's even. So I also want a little bit of white showing. So what I'm doing is I'm very slowly tearing towards me, and that way I get a little bit of a white that pops through that paper, and that's what I'm looking for. Now I think I probably cut this paper too big. I didn't need to do 4 inches, but that's okay. That's okay. So now what I'll do is I'm going to line these up, but I'm going to overlap them, and they have the exact same tear lines, which is why it's called a fault line. So I learned that from one of the demonstrators on in our big team of demonstrators a couple weeks ago, and she did this technique with the Friends of the Sea, the Seaside Friends. It's a stamp set that's got the lobsters and the crab, but the designer series paper is really fun and cute, and it's got sea stars. And I thought it was just so clever and so easy. So I just put a really thin little bead of glue on the back of the bottom piece of paper, and then I'm gluing them together. And then you can see they got the same, they follow the same line, hence fault line. So fun fact, there is a fault line on Vancouver Island that you can hike to. And I've never been there, but I used to live really close to it. And I've heard people say you could definitely fall into it. It is one big crack in the ground. I don't know why I never went out to visit it when I lived there. It's somewhere in Nanaimo. And I lived in Nanaimo before I moved to East Souk. And that was before Kai was born, and I was doing 911 dispatch. And then life changed, and we made a move. So I'm just gluing this to the very top of the designer series paper, just underneath that awesome little border design. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with the bottom. And you know what I might do, because I'm feeling like I need to be paper conservative because I cut too much. I made these too big. I definitely did not need 4 inches. I'm just going to line this up so the paper is together, and I'm going to cut it. And that way I can use the rest of that designer series paper for something else. And I don't even need to tear it because it's already torn. I think I need it a little bit smaller. I'm going to take a 1/4 inch off of that. If I can. Let's see. You know what I need? I need my Post-it tape. Yeah, Lisa, there is a fault line. It's in Nanaimo. Google it. You can walk to it. Yeah, another win for the Post-it note tape. Look at that. All right. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to put a tiny little line of glue on the bottom piece of the designer series paper, and then line these up, and then I'll glue it to the front of the card. All right, where did it go? Right here. Oh, thanks, Mary. Do you mean this? There is always an opportunity to be kind. I like this saying too, and it's a true story. All right, adding some glue. I have been chilly all day. I'm at the tail end of a flu, but for some reason, when I start doing a live, I get so hot. So now I'm in all these layers because I was freezing all day, and now I'm cooking. That's funny. Okay. All right, so here is the front of the card. I'm going to glue that right down to the card base. Pop up these flowers and add a sentiment, and then we'll do the inside of the card as well, which is optional. I mean, you don't have to decorate the inside of your card, but if you're using a dark card base like I am, you're probably going to want to at least put a lighter layer on the inside of the card. And my go-to measurements for the inside layer is always 4 by 5 1/4. Unless you're being fancy and cutting out these die cuts. All right, there's the front. Now for the inside, same thing, just with the 2 strips. Just line them up and then rip the paper by pulling it towards you. And that way you're going to get that white showing through. And you can always change up your paper too if you want your card to be a little bit different, but I'm going to keep everything the same on this. So I'm going to keep the green on top and the little flowers on the bottom. And then I'm just going to glue that. You know, Laura, I had never seen this fault line technique before either until we had our team day. I think that was a couple weekends ago. And there was a few of us demonstrators that did some presentations through the day. And I was lucky enough to be one of them. And I did, what did I do? I did a 6x6 do-it-yourself folder for your 6x6 designer series paper. I know I did a live on that as well after the team event. which basically you just take one piece of cardstock and you do some score lines and some cutting and you put it all together, and then you make this little folder that may or may not stand up depending on how good you are at putting your folder together. 50% of mine do not stand up, but I treat them kind of like bookends, so it all works out. But if anybody missed that live and you're interested, just drop me a comment and I'll find the link in YouTube and I'll share it with you, because I get it. Sometimes it's hard to find all the videos that I post. The die cut, Karen, is brand new. It's called Textured Notes. Textured Notes. It just came out on March 4th. So anyway, besides all the big news happening with Facebook with the subscribers and the brand, what did I call it again? The brand deals, being discoverable for brand deals. You guys will be the first to know if somebody is so kind to send me the coziest sweater in the world, because I'll probably live in it for the rest of my life. Anyway, besides that, then I also got hooked up with Amazon in an affiliate program, which will be kind of fun. So basically, there's a disclosure to it. If I'm sharing some of my favorite crafty things that I don't buy from Stampin' Up, such as the Post-it note tape, and I share my Amazon link where I bought it from, if you decide you need Post-it note tape and you buy that Post-it note tape using my Amazon link, I get a commission. And I don't know how much it is, maybe a quarter, I have no idea, because they don't tell you that. But that's new too. So I will post a link for the Post-it note tape. I don't know if it only works for Canadian shoppers, I have no idea. But there's a lot of things happening on this page because it's growing and I'm so new to it, and I have to Google everything because I'm so suspicious. I think everything is a scam. Like, seriously, I do think things are a scam, so I have to Google it and make sure that I'm not getting scammed. All right, Corrine, you saw Laura Strengths do a fault card a couple weeks ago from Australia. Really? I have never seen Laura Strengths. I feel like I need to see what she's up to on Facebook, because I love following other demonstrators and seeing what everybody is up to as well. All right, I'm just going to pop this floral image up on the card front, and then I'm going to add a sentiment. And this card is done. I know, Lisa, it's been a crazy busy week. I can't even wrap my head around it. I've got so many emails to read, and some of you may know this, but I do a lot of reading with my job. So it's hard for me to read through like legal documents when it comes to all the things you have to know when it comes to like Amazon affiliates, or even with Facebook too. Like it's just a lot. There's rules and I should read them. It's hard for me to read them. Okay, so I pre-stamped my sentiment because if I didn't, I wasn't going to be able to get my head over it, and this love and thanks was going to be cockeyed, and that drives me crazy. I don't want that to happen. All right, so I'm just going to pop this up on the card. I'm going to half pop, half glue. Kimberly, I will send you the link. If I'm missing comments, friends, I'm going to go back through and read everybody's comments. It's very possible I'm missing comments because I'm talking too much. Leanne, I know on stage, I have FOMO. I would love to go to an on stage. I would just love to. It just doesn't work out. Like my glue bottle. Dang it. Elena, I'm going to pop a link in. And you know what? I'm just going to have to unclog my glue. Now, I don't have a link for this, but this is just a paper clip, and I've unfolded it, and it's super sticky because I use it all the time. When my glue bottle gets clogged up, I stab it with my paper clip and I declog it, and then I just slide this super sticky little paper clip in my glue bottle holder, and that's where it lives. And trust me, it is sticky. Look at that. Works like a charm now. So that's what I do when my glue bottle clogs. I just unfold a paper clip. All right. So I've got a little bit of glue on the left side because that's going to hit my flower. And then I've got a little dimensional on the other side. Uh-oh, it's crooked. Let me see if I can fix that. Sometimes when you have sentiments that are so little, if you have to pull them off and readjust them, it bends the paper. So I'm always really careful. That's better. Now I feel like, I think Karen will support me on this, but I feel like this card needs a little bit of bling. I had somewhere in my mess bling that would be perfect. It is called, these are called the transparent adhesive backed dots. I am pretty sure they're in the annual catalog, and I'm pretty sure this is Blackberry Bliss. I mean, maybe it is. I think it is. I think it is. I'm going to use it. Oh, yeah, right, Tessa. It is a versatile tool. I know, Karen, I know, bling. See, you're watching, and then I'm compelled that I have to put some bling on the card. Okay, so it is confirmed a road trip is happening for spring break. Just Kai and I. Mike is not coming. I'm probably taking the dog though, because he wants a little spring break adventure. We are hitting the road and we are going to road trip all the way to Alberta to visit my parents and my in-laws. So we're going to be hitting Strathmore, which is outside of Calgary, and a little town called Highland, Alberta, which is where I grew up, and then Red Deer, which is where my in-laws are. So it's going to be really fun. All right, so this is tonight's card with the fault line technique and the blending and masking using the Thankful Gardens Decorative Mask, which I think is pretty fun. Thanks, Doreen. And before I forget, I'm going to pop the link in for Amazon. I've never done this before, friends. I think it's going to work. I don't know what a commission would be, but just know that if you purchase something from an Amazon link that I share, then I'm probably going to get a quarter or maybe 50 cents. I'll let you know. So just keep that in mind because we're all shopping and we need to be careful who we shop with or who we support. So no pressure, but it's there if you need some Post-it note tape. All right, I'm going to flip the camera around. See, I'm all red and sweaty and almost tidied my craft room today. I got halfway through cleaning up the bed, and you know what's been really on my mind with Amazon reaching out and Facebook and all that stuff? I really want to change my craft space so at least it looks like an organized and amazing craft space. So I had this idea that if I turn my desk around so it's facing the bed and I put myself in the corner, I could put like wallpaper on the plain walls and or maybe even tuck in a bookshelf and make it look like I have this fabulous craft space when really I don't. I definitely don't. I should see if Amazon has a she shed that I can just like order online and have it delivered and like put together a she shed that I can turn into like a nice space. So I don't know, maybe this is a me thing, but sometimes when I am working in my spare bedroom and I have got all my crap everywhere, it's overwhelming. It doesn't feel like a good creative space, but I don't know. I'm just not a tidy person. Yes, Wendy, a Murphy bed would be a really good idea. A Murphy bed with a bookshelf. Actually, no, that wouldn't work out because then I'd have to take everything off the bookshelf every time someone needed a spare bed. Anyway, that's kind of what my mind was thinking. So when we get back from our road trip, because we're not going to be gone for the whole time, I don't think that's very fair to Mike, but then maybe I'll spend some time like revamping the space so it's a facade that it looks like I have a really nice craft space. Anyway, That's just me. So thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for all your support over this past year and helping my page grow to just over 20,000 followers now. That's pretty mind-blowing for a small town prairie girl. Thank you. I love sharing free ideas with everybody. So tune in again, because Thursday will be my last live tutorial for a little bit, unless I have good internet connection where I'm going, but my first few stops I know I definitely won't. So I will do some pre-recordings for Thursday's class. So on Thursday, we're going to do card number 2 for the Memorial Blooms card class. And I'll show you, I'll give you a sneak peek. I have them all ready. We'll do this one. It was a fast sneak peek. Like that. Now you see it, now you don't. Tune in Thursday, we're going to do that one. And for those of you who are getting card kits for the Memorial Blooms class, they are in the mail and you're going to be able to craft along soon. All right, that's it. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you guys Thursday night for the Memorial Blooms card class at home.